Messiah. Indestructible.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I have that special guest I was talking about, the one and only Mr. Kacy Jones is with me here in the IPJ studio. The man, he is very well known for his work with Asphalt Messiah, a band that I believe you co-founded, correct, Kacy?
Actually, I'm the original member, and I actually came up with the concept of Asphalt Messiah.
Wow, okay.
And then kind of the band grew around me, and the movement grew around me, and it kind of went global. So
yeah,
but I'm the founding member. Yeah,
you are the founding member. So
yes.
The band has achieved some great success. But before the band, you're also known as a published author.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
And I want to talk a little bit more about that on the back end of this a little bit. I want to first get into where Kacy Jones began. What is your story? Now, you started off in Los Angeles?
Actually, I started off, I'm a military kid, so I lived all over the world. I was born in Kansas, ended up in Iowa to Texas, Texas to DC. Was in California for about 6 months, went back to DC, and then was in Spain for 4 years. Wow. South Carolina for about a year, and then I've been in California since '87. So I'm really a California kid.
Gotcha. Wow, yeah. That's a lot of traveling. That kind of prepared you for the life of a rock and roll star, right? I mean, that's a lot of traveling.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Dad was in the military?
No, my mom was in the Navy for 20 years, and actually her
fantastic.
Her shadow box, and she actually served 20 years in the Navy and retired, and then actually just recently passed away December 23rd of 2019.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
She had pulmonary fibrosis, but she was a very strong individual and is kind of like me, my mother, my sister against the world, and she provided a lot of wisdom and hard work and just showing you how things are supposed to be done, not just by our actions, but also coaching and mentoring you, but not being you over here with the bat. She was firm but fair, and she taught me so many things about life and about hard work.
And that's really what prepared you for how you live life today, correct?
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, even having the like my mother used to say, the testicular fortitude.
Fortitude, yeah.
To do things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To go out there and write a book, and there's a lot of myself in that book, as well as contributions from people who are really anonymous that were inside the book as well. They're anonymous by choice, and I just gave that gift to people because they were given the gift of wisdom and triumph through trial and error in the book. And so the book's not just about me, but it's about a lot of different people and experiences.
Yeah, to touch on that briefly, because I really think that we need to dedicate a whole podcast to the book. I'm in the process right now of reading it, and I'm telling you, it is a book that's not like, oh, I'm Kacy, this is what I do. Wow, it's a book that actually is like a guide. It can teach you certain lessons to deal with life that I've been looking at. It's pretty amazing. Gives you a step by step. I mean, even dealing with your marriage. I mean, all these little amazing lessons in there that men can take away. Even women. My wife is very interested in reading it now. But
it's funny you say that, because I wrote the book for men and how to obliterate cycles of learned bad behavior. Because men, we're very visual.
Right.
And we pick up on stuff. Like if our dad walks a certain way, well, I got to walk like my dad. I got to wear the same type of clothes. I got to like the same TV shows he does. I have to like the same type of food that he does. And we end up mirroring those things. We also end up mirroring the bad behaviors because, well, he's my dad, so whatever he says is correct, right?
Yeah.
And so the book is coming from a place of, empowering men to not be back what they grew up with. You don't have to be your dad. If your dad was an amazing guy, he was great, he was a maverick, you can emulate him, but still be your own man. But if your dad was a jerk, you know, by the time you become an adult, that's your responsibility not to take those same bad behaviors and inject them into your personal life, your business life, or otherwise. You know, it's your responsibility, and that's really what the book was about. But women, actually, even though I wrote it for men, women have been buying this book a lot. I'll give you an example. When I first wrote the book, and it was published on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and a couple other book outlets globally, I had like a box full of these things, and I was in the streets, and I was selling my trunk also, along with it being distributed. I was also giving them away too. So I was kind of like, well, if I run into someone that needs it, I'll just give it to somebody, right? Wow. So I gave it to this woman, and we were standing in line. I can't remember what store it was, and we just kind of struck up a conversation and started talking about the book, and so I gave her a book, and then like 2 weeks later, she comes back and she buys 10.
Wow.
Yeah, she buys 10. She's like, I'm going to give these out to my nephews and my little brother and my husband. And I was like, well, I really appreciate the support. So women are really buying this book quite a bit.
Now, the book is Kacy Jones, Quest of the Modern Day Warrior. Yes. It is available on Amazon. And where else can we pick up copies?
Barnes and Noble, BarnesandNobleBooks.com.
BarnesandNobleBooks.com.
Yes.
I highly recommend everyone pick up a copy of this, if not for yourself, if you believe you are amazing on your own, and some of you are. I recommend just picking it up for those in your life who aren't as amazing as you may be. So I want to get into your music. Okay. And like I said, we definitely, we're going to have you back for just to discuss this book because it's so amazing. I got to get all my notes gathered though. But
thank you, brother.
No, thank you for writing it. Wow. So moving on to your music, you didn't start off with, it wasn't Asphalt Messiah out the gate, right?
No, it's funny because when I grew up, it was sports. I was playing soccer, traveling across the United States, playing soccer in Canada, ended up playing soccer in Europe and traveling around Europe playing soccer and, playing on the military high school teams. But, you competed with all the schools in Europe. And so I was in all these, military magazines with my name all over the front pages and stuff for a long time over there. And then got picked up. Got picked up by a professional soccer club and played in their academy system. And for those who aren't familiar with an academy system, most of the teams that are worth anything on all over the world, they start kids playing for their franchise at the age of like 5.
Wow.
You wear the same uniforms, the same exact training regimen. You eat the same meals. You work with the same coaches, and you travel wear the same branding with sponsors and everything. So you really are learning how to be a professional athlete from when you're 5 all the way up until you're like 17, 18, until you're offered a professional contract with the first team.
That's training you for life in itself, period. To get you on a regular regimen, a daily structure like that, that's incredible. So that really prepared you for moving ahead with your own achievements in life. So how did you get to picking up a guitar?
Well, while I was in high school, I was doing a lot of DJing and, believe it or not, breakdancing. I was making a lot of money breakdancing with my friends' crew.
Really? Wow. You're just a jack of all trades, man. This is amazing. All right. So, 80s breakdancing, I was there. I remember those days. Cardboard box, laid out. Yeah, baby.
That's right. That's right. And so I was breakdancing on the military base, outside the base, and my friend and I started a group called the Playboys, me and my buddy, and then after that I joined this other crew, which was actually like a rival crew of ours, and I remember one time I was in a movie theater and they were, hey kids, what's up? And they're flashing all their prize money. They were always flashing their prize money. So I have to say I kind of joined them because they were good guys. They're really into martial arts, but they were also making money winning contests. So I was doing that and DJing. Wow. And a friend of mine had a band called Paradox. So that was a school band, and they played in like bars all around Spain. They played on the military base. And I decided I'm going to play guitar because I've always loved guitar. And so I started practicing guitar and until I was good enough to get in their band. And the first song I learned was Rock You Like a Hurricane by the Scorpions.
Nice. Oh, yes. I remember that. Yes.
Oh, yeah. So that was probably 84, 85-ish. And I started playing guitar, learned on a Gretsch of all guitars.
Oh, wow.
I was learning metal stuff on a Gretsch.
On a hollow body Gretsch, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, the string action, this is the guitar neck, and the action was way up here. So I was pulling them down like this to,
Right, yeah. Oh, that's great, yeah. Your fingers actually have muscles on them when you squeeze them together like that,
Yeah. It was really hard. I really, I know it's cliche, but I did play till my fingers bled, to be honest with you. And then until I got, calluses on my fingers, but that's really where I started learning how to play guitar. And I was in the band for a little bit, and then I got kicked out of the band for, bands do things, they get other members, whatever. And I was kind of heartbroken, but also pissed me off because I'm going to learn how to play this thing right, and I'm going to kick ass at doing it. And my first guitar that I ever got, that was mine, was from a Sears catalog. And one of my buddies from high school, he actually helped me get my first guitar because his mom was going to help him buy a motorcycle, and I had actually two of them, right? So I was going to sell one of them, and he helped me sell it. He sold it to it. He told his mom, "Hey, I need this bike," and so she bought it from him, and so I was able to get my first guitar, actually from a Sears catalog.
Oh, wow, and, I remember those days. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had guitars on there, and now they're you're looking at their crappy guitars, but actually, it was my first real guitar for myself, and so I got that guitar and played the heck out of it until I started getting pretty good to where I could start writing my own music, and after that, I went to South Carolina and really learned how to play guitar a lot.
Around what year was that?
That was 87.
Okay.
87-ish, right? And I started playing guitar, and then 87 to 88, I moved to LA, and I was a guitar tech in some pretty big bands in Los Angeles. I was in all these major clubs.
Throw any names around at all?
I was I was in Gazzarri's a lot.
I remember Gazzarri's. Oh yeah, I remember. Great club, Bill Gazzarri. Good times. Lots of stories.
Oh yeah. I gotta say, shout out to Bill Gold because he's my buddy I still know from high school. They helped me get that first guitar. I gotta say that.
Wow.
He gave me my first guitar book, which I still have to this day. So
fantastic.
So one of my best friends I've known since I was 14 years old, and we're still bros.
Oh, right? That's great, man. Great.
But playing and moving to California and I wanted to be in bands, ended up being guitar tech for bands Rings of Saturn, a band called Normandy, so I was their guitar tech, and then became their crew chief at the age of 18, 19.
What a dream come true. Wow.
Yeah, and so I learned a lot of stuff behind the scenes about being in music, and so when I got my own band, Asphalt Messiah, I was really inspired by Public Enemy, but I was a real metalhead too. So I wanted to combine the two and actually have music that everybody could appreciate, that everybody in the same room could come to, and maybe start talking about topics that we all cared about, right?
Yeah. So how did the metamorphosis of the band come together as far as all the members?
Okay, so I came up with the name Asphalt Messiah because I wanted to be a person that, and I wanted our music to reflect telling the truth from the street level, and it was a trip because there's this guy in LA at the time. They used to walk around in this outfit. He looked just like Jesus, and I think he thought he was Jesus because he has long hair and a beard, and he wore a long gown, a white gown in Hollywood. And I kept seeing this guy. I'm like, this guy's like the Messiah,
Oh,
so I was like, I was always walking around the asphalt, so I put the two together, Asphalt Messiah. Let's talk about telling the truth in the street. And actually, the guy, people thought he was crazy, but he's quite brilliant, actually. The guy who thought he was Jesus, but he was quite brilliant. So, was he really Jesus? I mean, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Have you seen him in lately, or is
No. I saw him for a short period of time, and I haven't seen him in a long time. So I don't know.
Right. So the name came together, and so how did the members come together?
Okay, so it was a trip because my buddy Matt was the original drummer,
Mm.
and and he's a singer and he's a songwriter. You know, he's still a good friend of mine, Matthew Lentz.
Yeah.
And my friend of mine, my cousin, was actually a producer, and he said, "Hey, I know someone that needs to be managed." So it's kind of like dabbling in managing artists at that time too. So I went over to meet this guy, and at the meeting, I met this producer,
Mm-hmm.
and his name was Automatic.
Oh, Mr.
So,
Bruce Vanderveer.
that's right.
Wow.
So so I met him,
Uh-huh.
and I started talking about the concept of Asphalt Messiah, and I had kind of written some music and whatnot. And there was this first song that I had written, and it was called "The First of Never." And the first of never is about just being absolutely tired and completely done with someone. And so you're like, yeah, call me on the first of never, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so I went to Automatic's house. I think he lived in Woodland Hills at the time.
Mhm.
Sorry, my business phone is ringing. And so I had he had a guitar there, and I started playing this. He said, play this riff for me. So I played it for him, and he said, well, what's the concept? I said, well, it's about the first of never, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, keep playing it. And so I kept playing it over and over again, and he starts coming up with a melody.
Uh-huh.
And that's how we started writing together. And I have to be honest, Bruce and I, that's how we do it, man. That's how we get down. It's like, you know, I have never worked with anybody in my whole life where I had that much organic connection with, that where I can just come up with a riff and a concept, and we'll have a song within 10 minutes.
Wow. That's incredible. That's great synchronicity when you're able to, combine your creative efforts like that, and it just clicks. You know, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you guys have been writing now for how long? Since when did the content all come together? When did the band come together?
Started coming together in around 2006.
Okay.
Matt was playing drums, and we were like, okay, so I've got Automatic, I've got Matt on drums. I go, we need a bassist. And Matt knew a friend of his named Pete Comita, who used to be the bass player for Cheap Trick.
Okay.
And he played with Cheap Trick for a while, who toured the world with them. He was actually the replacement of the original bass player. So I actually had the bass player from Cheap Trick in the original lineup of Asphalt Messiah.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, so
nice way to start, you know?
Yeah. And Pete's a fantastic bassist, and he's actually a fantastic guitar player. And at the time he was just playing bass, and so we were like, Pete's a really strong guitar player, and I was a really good rhythm guitarist and a really great writer as far as what other people were saying to me. But Pete was a superior guitarist at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was a superior writer, but as far as being a guitar player, he was a badass, dude. I mean, Pete Comita is a badass, and even he's great on bass. So we were like, why don't we just have Pete slide in on guitar? We'd have two guitars, and then we'll find a bass player. So we audition bass players, and then we get this cat that comes in named Brian, and Brian Talbot is his name. He's, we call him Sifu because he is a master of Wing Chun Kung Fu, and actually has a school.
Wow, that's incredible.
He has a full-on school in Long Beach, West Coast Wing Chun. But anyway, he comes in, so now we have a bass player. And then Matt was like, well, he doesn't want to play drums anymore, so he had another drummer named Zen, otherwise known as Cisco. And I was like, dude, you're an amazing drummer, because Matt was in the band Normandy. He was a drummer for Normandy.
Right, yeah.
He is an incredible drummer. So I'm like, okay, you're bringing somebody else in. It's not going to be as good as you. He brings in Zen, Cisco, and he blew us away. He is equally as good. And so it was Matt, myself, Cisco, Brian, Pete Comita, and Automatic.
Wow.
And one of the first shows, we did a bunch of small shows, but then we got a chance to open up for KRS-One at the Roxy, sold out. Wow. And it was totally insane because it was all hip hop heads. But we're a true hybrid. We're a true hybrid of hip hop, R&B, and rock.
Yeah,
we're a rock band.
Yeah,
right?
if nobody's ever heard your music before, it is an incredible blend of the music, different genres of music that come together that just really is amazing. It's captivating. It grooves. It grinds. It's amazing. It gets heavy. It gets, rhythmic. It's just amazing. People, you got to check it out. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Go on.
No worries. So, so we started doing shows and opening up for major artists like Warren, Warren G, KRS-One, Alien Ant Farm. But the members have changed. Matt left the band, Pete Comita left the band, and so it was the four of us, and that was the absolute strongest lineup, the most organic lineup that we ever had, because we would do shows and we would say, hey, give us a topic. And people were like, what do you mean? Just give us a topic and we will just make up a song on the spot.
Nice.
And we would freak people out.
Wow.
And they're like, wait, you guys must have written that. I said, no, we just asked you for the topic of the song.
Yeah.
And automatic, because he's an MC and a real producer.
Yeah.
And one thing, that's the one thing I have to say about Bruce is that he is really great at producing in the studio, really good at identifying what sounds good and what doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
We should get mad at him at rehearsal because he stopped, a song and go, what's up, man? He's like, well, someone's guitar is out of tune. I'm like, no, I just tuned it. And he would tell you, this is the disgusting thing about it. He would tell you which string was out of tune, just by his ear. And I'd go, all right, let me humor you. And I would go down to my floor tuner and I was like, son of a bitch. It would be out of tune, that exact string. So his ear is unbelievable.
Right? I'm going to touch base on that just real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, no, go ahead.
I had a similar incident happen with a great and talented ear as well. A man didn't have such a good personal life, but we were in a little band for a while, Ike Turner, and we would go into rehearsals and do a little rehearsing, right? And I swear to God, man, this guy, same exact story you just said. He would tell me, Matt, he would stop at, Matt, you're out of tune. What is it, Ike? What do you, your B, check your B. And sure enough, I go down on my B and, sure enough, it's like a little hair. Like, how can you, I hear you. There are people with ears like that, people that are listening to this podcast. They have golden ears, and that's why they are great producers. It just doesn't happen. These people can identify. They've honed that skill. It's amazing. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No worries.
Going on.
Nobody. Just like Turner. I mean, nobody. No big deal.
You're the man. What are you talking about? So
Ike Turner. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no. Go. I want to hear more about how you and Bruce took this thing now. So you guys were down to a foursome. You guys had your little thing. Down to a
foursome.
Yep.
Yeah, and if down to being a foursome, and it made me a better guitar player because I really went to the woodshed as far as being a better guitar player.
Yeah.
And still always being true to myself about my style of playing, not trying to emulate anybody else, not trying to copy anybody else. Yeah. I just wanted to be the best guitar player I could be for myself and for the band and for the Asphalt Messiah movement, and it's worked out pretty good. I've got guitar endorsements and, some really great people who have been backing me. EMG backed me for a while. I'm with Floyd Rose still. I'm actually on their website. With Spawn Guitars. They're out of Florida. They're a small shop. They crafted these amazing guitars for me.
So you have a signature model as well, a signature line of guitars?
Yeah, I have a guitar that I'm working with right now. I play it a lot. It's got EMG pickups in it. It's got the neck is through the body. And so it doesn't have a Floyd Rose on it. But it just has a tailpiece, and it's just a really screaming guitar.
Nice.
Matter of fact, my buddy Alejandro, he has a shop here locally in LA, and he used to be the tour manager for Suicidal Tendencies, and
nice.
He's tech for some of the biggest bands in the world. And I take it to his shop, and he just
Dials it
hot
in,
rods
huh?
them out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'll get a guitar from the factory, and then I'll say, hey, do your thing to it, drop EMGs in it, fix the action, and he does all this magic to it. Matter of fact, he just fixed my mom's Fender because she has had a Fender acoustic guitar that she gave me, and it's got one of those. It's got the electric guitar headstock on it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
it's a really great guitar, and so he hot rodded it for me because I had some really bad fret buzz on the 7th fret, and it was really bad. And he just took it, and like 2 hours later, he's like, "Come on back, man, I'm done." And I'm like, "What?"
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Guitar wizardry. So back to you and Bruce and the band were in the studio doing some. No. You guys were doing some rehearsing and getting ready for the first recordings as a band.
Yeah. So we started deciding what songs were going to be on the record, right? Because some songs are good live, but they don't belong on the record. Right. Not before some of the other songs that transfer over to the studio. Right. And so we started recording these songs. We actually had an opportunity to speak to Paramount Studios. I think it was like 2006, 2007, when they were actually filming Transformers 2. And Paramount asked us to write a track for the movie, Transform Me. So we kind of already had the skeleton of the song written, and then we went in the studio with our friend Barry, God rest his soul. He passed away recently in North Hollywood, and so we tracked Transform Me, mixed it, mastered it within a week, took it to Paramount, sat down with them, and they were completely blown away.
Wow!
They were totally blown away by the song. They're like, "Holy crap!" They're like, "This is everything that a song about Transformers should be about." And so we're thinking, oh, we're getting in the movie, because we were talking to the, I forgot what his title was, but he is in charge of determining what songs get on the soundtrack, right? But Warner Brothers actually is control of the soundtrack, so Paramount can say all they want. We want this song. We think it will fit good, and so we're thinking it's going to get the film. And from what I understand, at the last minute, Warner Brothers pulled it from rotation. They pulled it from being considered in the film, because Warner Brothers, they want to have Warner Brothers artists on the soundtrack, and we were just
it's political.
This little band, with this great song and this great producing and this great mix that people are going crazy for. And as a matter of fact, we have some radio partners from around the world, and we were on radio in like 150 countries at one point. And people from these radio stations were writing in to Paramount saying, "You need to put this song in the movie." It was crazy.
Wow.
But ultimately, they didn't put it.
All politics. Sorry.
All politics. But it didn't make it into film. But the fact we're sitting at Paramount Studios, and we're sitting there with the director of music, and they're going through our whole catalog going, "You guys are amazing. We really love your music." Says a lot, and it feels really good to be able to understand you're on the right path of what you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. If someone at that level, an organization at that level, respects your writing, respects your music, it's really cool. So,
So, have you guys released an album?
Yeah, we released an EP called 1865. Of course, the end of slavery for all of us, right? Not just for Black folks.
Fantastic.
End of slavery for everybody, right?
Right.
And so it did really well. I mean, we ended up with a distribution deal later with Universal. And so we did a deal with them, and so we actually had to pull our music from the Universes, say, and then put a couple of singles through them. Didn't work out very well. We didn't really have, they didn't really, their function wasn't really to put a huge budget behind it. It was really for us. They wanted to distribute it, but they wanted us to come with the budget. So we did that for about a year. And so we're actually getting ready to re-release our album along with some new music. So, yeah. So
when is this expected to drop?
Probably 2021. Okay. We're probably going to release a new single along with some of the stuff we've already recorded. Okay. We want to remaster some of the music because, it's funny because we still hear from our radio partners from like 5 to 6 years ago that are just like, they think our music is still relevant. Yeah. We have a lot of fans that still write in about it and talk about it. And so we're going to go ahead and re-release it and distribute it again.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be through Universal, but who cares, right?
Right.
Love being fiercely independent.
Yeah.
You can do what you want, keep what you want, share what you want, right?
Yeah, hey, we'd love to share it here too. So when it comes out, let us know. We'd love to give it an airplay, some review, check it out.
Right on.
Because it is amazing. It's got, I've always been into that heavy sound, coming up with heavy metal and stuff like that. But I also came up on Mary Wells and, all the, good Marvin Gaye and all the good stuff from back, the doo-wop, from the 50s. I mean, all that too, that my dad was into,
Right on.
So, I had all that flavor in there too, and the hip hop influences have been, in my life forever. I mean, ever since hip hop's been around, I've been into Eazy-E and all the cats, man.
Oh yeah.
I've always had a very, diverse taste of music. So your band.
Because, I grew up, didn't mean to interrupt you until I thought.
Oh, no.
When I grew up, my mother had this massive record collection.
Oh, really?
And so I was listening to everything from the Isley Brothers to Queen and AC/DC and Iron Butterfly, everybody. So in my household, it was like you're listening to everything.
Wow.
And I had appreciation for everything. That's why you hear everything in Asphalt Messiah's music. And our website's still up. It's asphaltmessiah.com. And we still have some of our music on there that people can listen to, whatever. And
yeah, absolutely. Dial in, check it out. You've also got some great videos on YouTube, some live stuff, some interviews you guys have done too. So please, people, go check them out. I think your music is going to be very relevant in 2021. I think with everything coming out of COVID, I think it'll be just like it was when it first came out, where people really, from all genres of music, find something relevant in it for them, and something they can relate to. Because really, like I said, I grew up in the heavy metal and all these other different, genres of music. And when I listen to your guys' stuff, it's like eating a full meal. You know what I'm saying? I get everything from my, from my appetizer all the way through the main course to a little dessert. You know what I mean? I even get a little taste of wine after,
Right on.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Bruce Vanderveer has been an incredible producer as well. So do you think that really helps to define your music when you're in the studio? Because he's got that ear. How does that work?
Wonderful thing about him, and I'll give you an example. So, the band has done a lot of stuff for charity, right?
Yeah.
We've raised $1,000 for kids with disabilities. And we've done a lot of stuff with the military, too, for Toys for Tots. And,
bless you guys, man. Fantastic.
We have this song called Don't Forget the Fallen because, I've had family members in the military since the 1800s. My great-great-grandpa was a Buffalo soldier in the 9th Cavalry for the U.S. Army.
Yeah. Wow.
And I have his discharge papers.
Wow, that is awesome. Wow.
Yeah, I had an uncle in the Marine Corps. I had another uncle that was an Army Ranger.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a chief officer in World War II.
Wow.
He ran the engine room. He was an engineer. He had a degree in engineering in 1943. Because he was, he was a black man. They wouldn't give him an officer's commission, but he still had a degree in engineering. Who cares, right?
Right.
And so his father was in the Army also in World War I. And my mother, of course, was Commander U.S. Navy, anesthesiologist and nurse anesthetist.
Wow. Well, thank you for your family service. Incredible.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So, but my point to that, following up with Otto, we were writing a song called Don't Forget the Fallen to honor our military, all of our allied soldiers from back then until now, to honor the people who were in service, to not forget the people who have given us the ultimate sacrifice. And so we used to play it live. And then we had an opportunity to play for the Marine Corps for Toys for Tots to help them raise money and raise toys for children. And so we're talking to some of the Marines who said, look, we have the song called Don't Forget the Fallen. We haven't recorded it yet. But we will only record it unless we get your blessing. If you feel like the song is relevant, if you feel that the song is uplifting and is respectful enough for you to say, we think you should record that song. If you tell us to record the song. After you hear it, we'll record it. If you say, go jump in a lake, go kick the rocks, we won't record it.
Yeah, makes sense.
My word. So we played it for the Marines. And these guys afterwards were like, you need to record that song. You have to record this song. So
That's
we
powerful.
did.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that song's been played thousands of times on radio. We played VA hospitals, you know, unplugged for service members here in Los Angeles. Played that song for them. And we've had people that were just like, had tears in their eyes afterwards because the song is just really, it's heartfelt, right? You know, from us, you know, everything we do is organic. And, you know, working with Bruce, he is an A-list producer. He is a world-class producer, first and foremost. Plays about 12 to 15 instruments well, right? Yeah. I play like guitar and bass, you know. He plays like 15, you know. I'll go to his house one day, he's playing guitar, and him over to bass, and him over to the piano, like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, I hate you. I hate you.
Right? Yeah. In a good way, but I hate you.
In a good way, right. But as a producer, he's not arrogant enough to say, I know everything. Yeah. And we co-produce all of our music together. In the studio, he's allowed me to produce him in the vocal booth. We produce each other, and that's how it works. So when we came time to do things legally, like who owns a piece of what, who gets what percentages, if you played a triangle on one of the songs or wrote one word with me, I'm giving you equal cut of the song. So I split the music rights equally amongst the people who were involved with the song. Yeah. And so in the studio, working with him is incredible because I learned a lot about myself about producing. I learned a lot about myself about studio etiquette. I learned a lot about, you know, being professional. And so I've taught my oldest son that. He's a guitar player, and he has a band called Quietude, which he's actually the band director for also. And the one thing I told him, just like I learned when I first came to LA, you want to learn about music? Okay, you're gonna be a roadie, and then you're gonna work your way up to being a tech, and then you work your way up to being a crew chief like I did. So my son, my son Sydney, he was like, I want to, you know, be in music. I said, okay, you're gonna learn a lot about the music industry, but you're gonna load trucks for Asphalt. And if you're good enough, then you'll be my guitar tech. And after that, we'll see what's up. So he's 17 years old, being a roadie, then worked up to being my guitar tech, teching for me in major clubs in LA and also stadiums. Wow. Okay. We played Citizens Bank Arena a couple of times, headlining there. Love that. For an MMA event. Wow. And my 17-year-old kid was my guitar tech in front of like 10,000 people.
Oh, geez. God, that must have been amazing. He must have been thrilled about that one, huh?
He was thrilled. And I had one of my other sons, Kyan. He was there too. I think he was like 14, 15. He was working as a roadie.
Wow.
You know, and so
how many kids do you have? I'm sorry.
Okay, so I've got 5 boys, right? So two are blood, 3 aren't. Yeah. But I've raised them all together, right? They're all doing their own thing. Thanks. Yeah. But they're all like.
How long you been married?
Well, I'm not married now.
Okay.
I'm not married now. Okay. But I've got these 5 boys that I'm mentoring, right?
Good for you.
I try not to get, you know, like my youngest is 13. So I got 13 and 16-year-olds. So I still kind of have my hands in the back of their neck still, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that age. Yes.
Yeah, you know. So you know, 19, 22, and 27. Wow. They're kind of like doing their own thing a little bit. So I'm kind of like looking, you know, like if you need me, you know, I'm over here.
Yeah, doing my thing.
I'm not gonna like, you know, helicopter dad you. You know, if you need me, I'm here. And don't forget, you know, if you need something, call me. Yeah. You know, but I'm not gonna get in your way and try and tell you how you should live your life. But my 16-year-old, my 13-year-old, like, hey, come here.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a seat.
Yeah, those can be tough years for all of us. Absolutely. Yeah. So you're saying you got them involved in the industry too, and they've been helping you out and kind of understanding and making their way up through like any of us would. That's good, man. That's good. Now, I want to talk to you about a little bit real quick. So when should we expect some new music? You said in 2021. Are we talking like in summer? Are we talking about in fall?
For maybe Jan, Feb. You know, all this. You know, it's kind of hard to find studio space right now, you know, to record, and we're trying to get these drum tracks recorded. And by the way, on Transform Me, the drummer that played drums on Transform Me is my buddy Will Dorsey at Body Count.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
So Will played with us a bunch of shows live. He played it with us at a NASCAR racetrack in California, and we played with the Metal Militia, you know, the freestyle motocross outfit.
Okay.
We did a show with them, and we had this huge stage with thousands of kids there, and on the side in the parking lot, you guys got doing, you know, 360 backflips, you know. You know. Oh yeah. And Will play with us there. He played with us with a bunch of other shows too.
Wow, man. That's
but
great.
now he's like full time with Body Count, but he played on Transform Me, so I anticipate working with him again, depending on his schedule. But right now we're trying to find a studio so that we can go in and lay these drum tracks, because one of the new songs, the guitars are already laid, the bass is already laid. We did some strings. We love strings too. And the last part of it will be drums, putting them all together, and then going to Otto in his studio and go, okay, songbirds, your time to sing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then it's great the way he works too, is because he's funny, because he'll layer vocals and he'll come with all these sounds just done with strings, and he'll start playing, and we look at you like, where is that coming from?
Right.
That wasn't live. That wasn't under live. Yeah. So he puts them in layers like sandwiches. Yeah. You know, which is one thing I learned about producing from him. And so when he puts it all together, you're like, holy crap. Yeah. He did it on Don't Forget the Fallen. And it just came out so great, so wonderful. Yeah. And that's why it means so much to a lot of people. You know, and the video, I mean, it's got like 100,000 plays or something like that. I mean, you know, but anyway.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, the way, you know, you stack the music and everything. I mean, the way these guys hear it in their heads, and then they are able to dissect it and put it down in the music itself. They know that this is supposed to go there in this key, and this is supposed to be there at that key, and it's amazing to watch. You know. Yeah,
it is.
Anyways,
I know I get all over the place sometimes. I apologize. I mean, I go down a rabbit hole, and I had a thought process, and I go, let me go down this hole.
This is your podcast. That's what you're supposed to do. We're gonna follow you down the rabbit hole. That's all. We're just following you on the adventure. Right on. So I'm gonna take you down another rabbit hole, because we'd like to take all of our awesome guests down the rabbit holes. Sweet. So, what's your take on aliens? Are there aliens or are there not aliens?
Of course they're aliens. Yeah, of course. You know, look, I feel like they're like, first of all, they're probably walking amongst us, studying us.
Oh, really? Right? Wow.
And I think we will be arrogant to think there's not somebody else in the universe that's smarter than us, right?
There's a lot out there, man. Yeah.
There's a lot out there. And think about this. I'm like, okay, I'll watch these TV shows sometimes. I don't know about that. But when you think about, like, how are we coming up with all this crazy technology? Like, where would this technology comes from? Like, we're smart, right? We're not that damn smart, right?
Yeah, we went from stones to horse and buggies. It took us thousands of years. So you know, to go from buggies to Ethernet within.
Right.
You know,
it's like, what the hell? Yeah. And then you remember Minority Report when they had the earpieces in their ear and it was like there's no cable to it. Yeah. They're talking. Yeah. They're just like talking to one another. We're like, oh, that is cool, dude. When is that coming out? And then it comes out.
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere. Like, wait a second. Yeah. Like, where the hell did that technology come from?
You think they were pre-programming us for what's to come, or?
Dude, I think they're like put little feelers there, like, watch, we're gonna blow their minds. They already have like time travel and like hoverboards, and watch this, and then all of a sudden it comes there like, whoa,
yeah. Wow.
Because you already saw it in the movie. You already saw it in the movie, so you're already thinking it could be possible, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
And then it comes out. So, and then think about the pyramids.
Wow.
We know there was slavery from time memorial, right? Mm-hmm. BC, we know there was slavery, right? Uh-huh. So for the Egyptians to let us think that was just, these are human beings that cut these precise ballots with these angles And then you took those things to the very tip top of that pyramid.
Yeah. They just dragged them up, right?
Just drag them up. Like you put them on rollers. We move these thousands of pounds of blocks on rollers. Yeah, that's what we did. And then,
no biggie.
Yeah.
On
and
wood.
everyone's like, heave ho, pull this block to the top.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So then what is the? I mean, will we ever know what all the
I think at some point we'll know. I think that there's intelligent life out there that's like, these guys are not ready.
Yeah. They're like, no, you guys don't need to know nothing.
You don't need to know a damn thing because you can't handle it. We're studying you. We're already watching you. Like, you can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you when the McRib sandwich is here for a short period of time, they take it away, you guys lose your mind.
Right,
so there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like, you guys are fist fighting over a chicken sandwich from Popeyes. You cannot handle this. You can't handle it.
That's some serious chicken sandwiches,
That's a serious chicken sandwich. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
I've had some really good ones, though.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go in another direction. What about ghosts? Have you seen any ghosts or have any good ghost stories for us?
I don't have any good ghost stories, but I can feel the presence.
So
you know what I mean?
You believe that there might be ghosts where our spirits, or is it like? What do you think?
I think there's spirits, from people that we know. I'll give you an example, not to be morbid or anything. So, both of my parents are gone now, right? So like 6 or 7 years ago, my dad died of cancer, and we were in a hospice. And right before he died, he looked over in the corner, and he started talking to somebody. And I was like, who's he talking to, right? So later on, I talked to one of the nurses. She goes, oh, yeah, your dad's in the room with that corner right there. They talk to people before they go. Before they die, there's always someone that comes from that corner regularly. Whoever's in this room, before they die, they talk to someone in that corner. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that's just real. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, even with my mom passed recently, but, she had a really good sense of humor. And, but I can always feel her presence. Like something will happen, I'll go, all right, Mom, all right, okay, all right. Wow. I'll be on a certain frame of mind, I might be having a bad day, and then something will happen, and it'll make me laugh, and I'm like, okay, all right, Mom.
That's awesome.
All right, I get it. All right. I'll like my mom always says, cowboy up. They always say that. Like, you know what, dude? You need to cowboy up and stop whining. I'm like, all
nice.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
All right, Mom. All right.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
That is great. So, wow, this has been very enlightening. I think we've learned quite a bit about Kacy Jones of Asphalt Messiah today, but we have a lot more to learn. I look forward to doing another podcast probably in the next couple of weeks. Take me a little bit to absorb the book, and then we will definitely, hopefully, have some of our listeners also give it a preview. It is called The Quest of the Modern Day Warrior. It is available,
Modern Day Warrior.
Available on Amazon and BarnesandNobleBookstores.com.
Yes, so AmazonBooks.com and BarnesandNobleBooks.com, and it was on Walmart for a while. I don't know, I haven't seen it there in a little bit, but there's a bunch of other outlets that you can find it at.
Great.
And,
pick it up. You got to get a copy of it. If not for yourself, then somebody that you know who's coming up in life, a young man, a young lady that can use a little direction, some great positive guidance in their life. This would be a great book to pick up. Can we expect anything new as far as literature, kind of authorship, any new work coming from you?
Oh, yeah. I have a couple of different things I'm working on right now. I do have a hi, puppies.
Yeah, sorry about that. My dogs, they like to jump in the show every now and then.
It's cool. I'm dog friendly. You know what I'm saying? I do a lot of corporate training, and I do a lot of public speaking, and I speak a lot with the Tiger Woods Foundation here in LA. I was a key speaker with them for a couple of years. And so we have a program called PSW training, which is really corporate training, but it's more like, organic sales training where you kind of understand who you're talking to, right? It's about bringing different departments together by understanding, the strengths in everybody within the organization, not having the them versus us by department mentality, right? But I do have another book in me, and I'm going to start writing it soon. I can feel it, but there will be another book for sure.
Awesome. This is going to be good. We look forward to that, man. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
We're doing a bunch of other stuff too, which we can talk the next show. But we have a lot of stuff we're doing with technology, and I have a patent on some other stuff. And there's a lot of technology things coming up.
You can't just leave it hanging like that. Now,
okay. All right.
Come on now. We'll go into deepness later, but give us some tidbits. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a company called Native Sun Labs, and it's native, and then the sun is SUN. And we started off with load-bearing, weight-balancing systems. And basically, what it is it's technically a bag, but it's bulletproof. And it's only considered a bag because it has zippers and material. And what it does is it lays on your shoulder, center mass, and it balances the load. And so we have a patent on that. So we have 3 or 4 different versions of the product, but it's really designed to empower the people who are in service, like fire and rescue, police, combat medics, anybody in the military. It's a product and it's a system that's suitable for any situation. And the only limitation is our imagination, how we're utilizing it, right? And so we do have a patent on the technology, how it's made, how it functions. And, we've turned down a bunch of money from investors because we just didn't feel like it was the right fit. Yeah. I'm like a real organic person. I'm like, if we don't match organically, I can't mess with you, man. Yeah. I have to, and I've had people who are angry, like, I can't believe you won't take this $150,000. I say, I won't take it because I'm a purist about everything I do.
Yeah.
Right? And so I can't bring you into my fold or bring it to my family and share this product with you if you're a jerk. Yeah. And so now we're kind of like, we've got into designing apps too, and so we're working on that. But there's a lot you can see on our website at Native Sun Lab, www.nativesunlabs.com, and it gives a full description of what we're up to. And right now we're actually trying to raise capital, and we're actually working on some grants too, because we already have the product. We already have a really good team in place, and we're just going to expand. And as soon as we get this money to operate, we're going to do some great things globally, and we really work on the why of why we're doing it, not the what and, what the product is. It's the why we're doing it, because we believe in empowering the common person with technology that may not be available. And so that is a huge focus of ours. Kind of like how we thought about Asphalt Messiah. Asphalt Messiah is not just a band. It's just not music. It's a movement. Wow. And the Asphalt Militia is all over the world, and they still exist, and we still exist. And we're going to do everything. We're going to do music. We're going to do literature. We're going to do mentoring. We're going to do technology. We're going to bring it all to the world. Because everything is about what you bring to the table, how you pay it forward, not about what you have and what you think you can do.
Well, that's fantastic, man. I really appreciate you being so positively motivated in helping to shape this world in a better way by bringing your creativity and your ability to author a great book, create some beautiful, great music, bringing all different people together, and then as well creating a company that can be something that can be utilized by so many different people in positive ways to help people around the world. And wow, my hat's off to you. Kudos, my brother. I really appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We really appreciate having you. It's been very informative and exciting. I always love talking to you. You're a great, amazing individual and a great guitar player and singer, songwriter, amazing all the way around.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much for being with me, and we are so grateful for your mother's service, and we're sorry for your loss. And
thank you.
We look forward to hearing from you again in a couple of weeks. We're going to talk to you again about this book.
Yes,
oh man, it's going to be fantastic.
Will.
All right.
I had a great time, and thank you very much. And be safe, and your family be safe, and God bless you and your family and your friends and everybody you care about, man. And the lesson I'll say is, reach back, but also pay it forward, and
beautiful.
All right, the last thing you got to say, man.
Beautiful. I love it, man. All right. Peace to you, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.